This book let me down harder than my father did when he walked out on me at 10 years old. Babes, Fabes, and Beyblades. It is time for a book unhaul. Wow, these glasses are so dirty and scratched up. Not unlike my soul. Those of you who have been following my channel for a while, the book room is undergoing a makeover. So you're getting a little sneak peek, a little preview. I have a very, very lengthy bookshelf reorganization video coming to y'all soon, and I'm very, very excited. And so because I've been pulling all these books off the shelf, changing them, and just I've been kind of thinking about what I'm reading, what I'm not reading, books that I consistently am not reaching for, and also books that I own that don't deserve a spot on my beautiful shelves, just like this one. This video is going to be a big old bookish unhaul, all of the books that I'm getting rid of. I'm saying sayonara to these books. I'm saying hello next. I'm saying goodbye, wham bam, thank you ma'am, to all of these books. They're gonna find better homes. It's gonna be great. So those of you who have been watching me for a little bit, you probably already know that I do have an online bookstore where I sell my used books. Every single book that I have on there is either brand new or in new condition. So a lot of the books that you are about to see in this video are going to be up for sale on my pangobooks account if you are interested in grabbing any of them for yourself. But no pressure. I tend to sell books for anywhere, I think, from like $5 to $11, and again, they're all brand new books. So if you want to save yourself some money, and if you've been eyeing these books, go for it. And then I'll also have on the screen books that I have up in there currently in case you want to see what's going on with the Pango account. But let's get started with the first book. So I'm going to be filming an entire waste my time video dedicated to this book because this book wasted 10 years of my life, and I'm gonna explain why in the video. But this is Android Karenina. I think that it's pronounced Karenina, but I always like Karenina better because it just makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Even though I don't.
Based off of Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Beautiful, beloved classic. I went through a big phase in my undergrad where I just was in love with Russian literature. I'm sorry, like in high school, for absolutely no reason. I was in love with Dostoevsky. I read him for fun. And I actually, wait, is Tolstoy even Russian? Yeah, he's Russian. I got scared for a second that I didn't know what I was talking about, as usual. Tolstoy was one of those authors that I just never got around to because I was like riding Dostoevsky so hard. I think we all know what I was trying to say, even though we wish that we didn't. This is basically Android Karenina, where it's kind of like a cyberized version of Anna Karenina, where everybody in this world has robots. They have personal aides and assistants, and I think they're from class 1 to 3. You know, class 1 robots are like your lower levels, all the way up to like class 3, which is like they can think for themselves, they are companions, they dress you, they offer advice, they do whatever. Like, Jesus, like, is she okay? I was really, really excited about this kind of remix. I thought that would be really, really good. It wasn't. This was, like I said, it wasted 10 years of my life. I'm not going to talk about why. And I've been hanging on to it because, you know, I've had this book for a very long time. Now that I've finished it though, when I look at it, it fills me with absolute rage. So the next one that I have here, this is going to be up for sale on my Pango Books account, and this is called No One Asked for This, Essays by Cant Even, and it has a pretty dope ass cover. It has a dope ass cover. Now this is one of the books that I'm going to be unhauling simply because I know damn well I'm never going to read it. I'm interested in this book, but my interest level in comparison to all of the other books that I have, like, I'm never gonna read this book. I'm never, ever, ever going to read it. And if I know in my heart of heart that I'm never, ever, ever gonna read a book, I'm just not gonna keep it on my shelves. And so this is a collection of essays where Cant Even talks about death, despair, and social phobia, living with mental illness, with panic attacks. She's got really like bleak humor, and this is coming from an author who's written for Vanity Fair, Hollywood, Glamour, Vogue, and is the star of the critically acclaimed web series 86. This book is supposed to be phenomenal. Like, I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's just, I just don't think I'm ever gonna get to it. So I'd rather get it to go to a new home. And if for some reason it does shoot to the top of my TBR, I have no problem getting it from my library. You know what I'm saying? So for now, I think it's better to just send her off to someone who's more desiring of her company. And then I'm also going to be giving away an extra copy of A Kata Woman. This is the third book in one of my favorite ongoing series of all time, where we are following a young girl. I think she starts out as 12 years old, and the book even kind of reads more middle grade. And you get to kind of watch the whole story mature with the character, which is pretty dope. Like, I love when authors do that. But this is following 12-year-old Sunny Nwase. I think that's her last name. Yep. And she discovers that she is a witch and she is albino, and it's about her being an albino Nigerian American girl who is learning how to navigate the magical world, the leopard world, along with the lamb world, which is the non-magical world. And it's pretty amazing. Then we have ExLibris, 100+ books to read and to reread by Michiko Kakutani. I have no idea where I acquired this book, but this is the cover. It's pretty cute. And then on the inside, it says from the library of, and I wish I could remember how I got this book. It's brand new. It's in perfect condition. And I just don't know where it came from, and I know I'm never gonna read it, especially like with me being a booktuber. You know what I mean? Like, I just know that I'm never gonna need a book where someone tells me what kind of books to read. That doesn't make any sense for me to own personally. If you are a booktuber, or even like somebody who just reads a shit ton of books, is this kind of book interesting to you? Would love to know. Am I just a weirdo? Let me know in the comment section down below. But it's got these like pretty dope illustrations in it, and this like book list is curated by a Pulitzer Prize winning literary critic who talks about her enthusiasm for more than 100 books, especially if you are trying to be more mindful of picking up books by Asian authors and also books that Asian authors recommend. This would be a really good thing for you. So that's also going to be up for sale on my Pango account. And the next book, this is also one I'm going to throw up there. This is called Cant Even, How Millennials Became the Burnout Generation by Anne Helen Peterson. This cover is pretty damn trippy. Like, it's just trippy. It's trippy. How do we feel about this cover? You know? And again, this is just a book that I just know that I'm never going to read. I'm never going to reach for it. I'm sure it has tons of amazing, important, critical information, and I'm never going to read it. This is an incendiary examination of millennial burnout, the cultural shifts that brought us here and the pressures to sustain it, and the need for drastic change. It talks about everything from changing labor laws to unchecked capitalism to how we parent and socialize and our socio-historical framework, and it analyzes the TV interviews and all this shit. Like I said, it actually does sound really, really good, but I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it. The one thing I can say about this cover that I don't love is, like, even though I haven't even read this book, it does have scratches, I think, just from handling. I don't even know why I brought that up. So the next book is one that I potentially am gonna regret, and this is Girlhood by Melissa Febos. Now, this is a book that I've heard amazing things about. This came in one of my Feminist Book Club subscription boxes. And again, this is a book that I do want to read, but I just don't think I'm ever going to read it. I don't think I'm ever going to read it. Like, even among the feminist nonfiction books that I have, and I have so many, like I have a whole bookshelf, of nonfiction literature that centers around social wellness that I do want to get to. I just feel like this is not a book that I'm ever even going to pick up, you know? But if I'm wrong, and I need to not unhaul this, let me know in the comment section down below. This is basically a book where she talks about the narratives that women are told and what it means to be female and what it means to free oneself from them. Then we are getting rid of a book called Spirit Run that did disappoint. This book was a disappointment. Like 6,000-mile marathon through North America's stolen land. And it is told from the perspective of a son who comes from working class Mexican immigrants. They led a life of labor in fruit packing plants in the Pacific Northwest. So he ends up joining this movement that is operated by Native American and First Nations individuals. And it's called the Peace and Dignity Journey. And they host these epic marathons across North America to kind of boost connectivity and just discipline in so many different things. And so it's about his journey. So he writes about overcoming hunger and fear on this journey, as well as those feelings throughout his childhood. And it's also about like his relationship with the land and his observations and all of that. And unfortunately, the writing just was not it. Like, I really did not get out of this book what I wanted. Just didn't, and it sucks. Like, it sucks so bad that I didn't, but unfortunately, it just wasn't for me. Like, as soon as I finished this book, I forgot everything in it. Nothing stuck with me, and it like, I feel like that's so, I just feel like, I feel really bad saying that about someone's nonfiction book, you know, but unfortunately, like, not every nonfiction book is for all of us, you know, and this one just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. But there are a few lines through here that I really, really loved. Like when he says, the rhythms of the working class life cut inside me like broken beer glass. I run in order to dislodge my problems from where they have taken up residence. I run hard until I can finally clear my throat of anger, slapping my face and chest to remind myself of this heavy flesh, the burden of being human. I imagine reconstructing her flesh and rebuilding her lost youth with the tips of my fingers. And he's talking about his mother and how her hands, you know, have been ruined by labor work. Of a son who is like longing to rebuild his mother's body. It just meant a lot to me. So there's definitely like some tender and touching moments. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It just like, it wasn't for me. Like I read it and now I'm gonna, you know, give it to a old neighborhood library. Then we have Adriana Trigiani's The Good Left Undone. I'm so sorry for butchering your name. Did you hear my dog grunt and groan like she pays bills? What bills do you pay? None. Can you say none? She don't pay no bills. This is a book that, again, I'm just never gonna read, even though it's one of those, it has a trope that I really, really enjoy, which is sweeping family saga. I love family sagas. I get to follow your family.
This sounds really creepy.
If I get to follow your family over a period of time,
It's getting even creepier.
I will do it.
Please don't call 911.
Book of the month sent this, and I'm just never gonna read it. I know that I'm never gonna read it. Y'all know I'm never gonna read it. You know damn well I'm not gonna read this book. And so basically this is a story where we are following the Cabrelli family's matriarch. And she's always been like really brusque and opinionated. And again, I love, love, love books about women that men hate. I love that kind of woman. Like I love books about women that society can't stand. I love that. I love those kind of books. It's about how her home becomes unsafe when Italy teeters on the brink of the World War, and then someone gets imprisoned and she experiences love and lost. 100 years later, her daughter Matilda and her granddaughter Annina face the same big questions about life and their family's legacies and what they're fighting for and blah, blah, blah. I'm never gonna read it. Next up, I have Goblin, which is one of the most disappointing books that I've ever read in my life. Like this book let me down harder than my father did when he walked out on me at 10 years old. I literally do not understand why I read this book. It took up residence in my brain that it didn't need to take up. This was one of our Patreon picks. I do have a Patreon for those of you who are interested. And I was really, really excited because I fucking loved Bird Box. Like, loved Bird Box. I'm one of the few people that really enjoyed the movie adaptation. Shocking, I know. This book here was trash. It was trash. We all know that it's trash. This is a story about a town called Goblin, which
y'all should probably move right now immediately.
And in this town, creepy shit is happening. And so you get these 6 novellas that weave together to fit a broader story. And it's all centering around this like really, really creepy maze. And it's supposed to be good. And it wasn't. I enjoyed the first story and the last story. And that was it. The last story, I will say, actually was creepy. That story was actually creepy, and it was really, 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 really good. The way that it pulled together, like I really liked that. And every now and again, because Josh Malerman knows how to write, there are these lines that I did like. And you know, there were some definitely creepy moments. There were definitely some creepy moments, but for the most part, like, oh my God. So this line says, "So why wasn't it ending?" And I wrote, "Me with this book." Do you see that? This is an accurate depiction of how little I enjoyed this reading experience. Do not recommend this book. I think I gave it a 1 star. Also, like, I did some research and I couldn't figure out if Josh Malerman had ever spoken about being Indigenous. He uses a lot of Indigenous horror in this book, and Indigenous reviewers have been like, absolutely not. I was reading this book and I was like, is he Indigenous? Because if he's not, why? The Indigenous horror coming from a white male author did not make me feel comfortable. Again, if he is Indigenous, comment down below. I would love to know. Like I said, I did like lengthy research, and I'm pretty sure he's white. I don't like to assume, so that book's just leaving the shelf. The next book that is going to be leaving the shelf is The Blood of Lambs by Kamal Salim, and this is a book that if like y'all have read, I would very, very much like your opinions on. So I picked this up from a little free library, and then just honestly just forgot that I had it because there's no cover, kept making me not look at the book, and then I forgot that I had it. So I'm going to be returning this to the little free library that I got it from. Sorry for stealing it. But basically this is a story that came out in 2009, and it's a true story, and it's about an I think Al-Qaeda terrorist who ends up like becoming a Christian. And it's about like his experiences being part of a Muslim extremist group and then converting. And feel like it could be potentially problematic for me to read this book. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. Maybe I am overthinking it because I am like king, queen, and princess of overthinking. It's literally what I do. If I could think myself to death, I would. And I'm just like, okay. So this is a book about an ex-Islamic terrorist, right? And I'm just thinking, instead of reading a book about an ex-Islamic terrorist, why not pick up a book by a Muslim Middle Eastern author that is not about terrorism? Because I don't pick up enough of those books as it is. So maybe I should focus on the books on my shelves that I am interested in reading that don't center terrorism and the narrative that like Muslim people are terrorists. I think that's what I'm concerned about. And I know it's just one book, but still, I don't want, that's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be responsible in any way, shape, or form for perpetuating that notion. That's just not what we're doing. So if anybody has opinions on that, would definitely love to hear them. That is my book haul. Those are the books that I am going to be getting rid of. I have like 2 more stacks of books that I'm going to be getting rid of. So you're going to see another one of these book hauls very, very soon. But I just wanted to film this one, get it out of the way, say hello. I have not been uploading very many videos because I've been doing things. The reason that I haven't been uploading videos is because I have been filming my bookshelf reorganization video, which has taken weeks. It has taken weeks to reorganize this book room. And I'm filming an experiment video that has 7 books in it. And I've been filming that for over a month. And even though it's like, yeah, I make more money when I put out like 3 videos a week, and like, yeah, my channel grows, and those are important. Like, these are things that I do care about. I'm not going to say that I don't. It is really fun to be able to be like, you know what, just for now, I just want to focus on my Patreon, like putting out consistent content for my patrons, and then taking a break from broader YouTube so I can focus on these like longer term videos. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. Like, as long as I'm producing content for my patrons, I'm good. You know what I mean? Plug for the Patreon in the description box down below. That is why I've been more absent on YouTube this month. Also, as y'all know, this was my birthday month, and I just have been doing a lot of self-work, and so I haven't been filming because of that. That is everything. If you want any of these books, check out my Pango. I don't know if it's still active, but they did give me a credit because I was sponsored with them once. They did give me a credit for $5 off of y'all's like first order. So if that link is still active, if that code is still active, I'll leave it down below. Give it a shot. If it doesn't work, oh well, but you know, in case it does, so in case they didn't shut it down, I'm trying to give y'all a little plug, you know, save yourself some money. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. If you want more content from me, I have a Patreon where I do fun exclusive content for my patrons, but all my social media links are in the description box below. Until next time, stay safe, be good to yourselves, be good to others, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.